All right, hi guys. So we've been talking about light waves. So our next lesson is all about how we see. When we talked about sound waves, we talked about how we hear those. So now we're going to talk about how we actually see these light waves. So obviously, our eyes are the organs that we use for vision, just like our ears are the organs that we use for sound. So inside our eye, we have what's called a retina. That retina has special cells in it called photoreceptors, and those photoreceptor cells are the ones that take those light waves, turn them into nerve impulses that can then travel to our brain and send a signal. This is what the image you should be seeing. So here's a picture of your eye. Light comes in through your pupils, goes all the way to the back of your eye where your retina is. And like I just said, there's these special cells there called photoreceptors. They convert it to a nerve impulse. They take that light energy, turn it into a nerve impulse that the optic nerve here at the back sends to your brain that creates a picture that you're actually seeing. So kind of works the same way that your ears work. Your ears collect the sound wave and then turn it into a signal that your brain can interpret. So your eyes collect the light waves and then have special cells to turn it into something that your brain can see. All right, so let's talk about these photoreceptor cells. There's two kinds. There's cones and rods. Cones are the ones that respond to color, and rods respond to the intensity of light, how bright or dark something is. So your rods are the ones that see black, white, and shades of gray, how light or dark something is, where cones, again, one more time, actually see specific colors. So our eyes work according to an additive color process. What that means is we have three special cells, photoreceptors, one that interprets red, one that interprets green, and one that interprets blue. And they use those three colors together. They can work together to create all the other colors that we see. We can see thousands and millions of different shades of different colors just from those three, red, green, and blue photoreceptors. So for example, if you're seeing green light, okay, that's because when the light waves hit your eyes, your green photoreceptors are the ones that are working, and the other two don't really have anything to do with that. But if you'll look at this orange over here, or this kind of brownish orangey rust color on the other side, so your eyes are taking in light waves. Your red photoreceptor works a whole lot, but there's a tiny little bit of the green photoreceptors that work too to interpret that color. So they kind of get mixed together to create that specific color, and that's how it works. Whatever light waves are going into your eyes, your photoreceptors use red, green, and blue to kind of mix together and create whatever color you actually should be seeing. This is also how televisions work, especially older televisions. If you get really, really close to any screen, a television screen or a computer screen or your cell phone screen, might not be the best thing for your eyes because it would be a little bit too bright. But if you got really close, you would see a bunch of little dots, just like you see in the picture here. And those dots would all be red, blue, and green with a little bit of black and white thrown in because that just has to do with how light or dark a color is. And it's called the RGB model, the red, green, and blue model. And they use, again, all of those colors in different ratios to create all the other colors that you see. And then cameras work the same way, like the rods and the cones in your retina. So you've got one that sees color and one that sees black and white. A video recorder has two light sensors, one that sees color and one that sees black and white. And then they use red, green, and blue to create images in the right color. They work pretty much the same way that your eyes work. That's how cameras work too. So like I just said, your eyes create a sense of color. When you look at an object and you say, hey, that's blue, or hey, that's green, or whatever, that's because your eyes respond to red, green, and blue light. You don't see objects in their own actual light. You see them in reflected light. That is an important thing to know about light waves in general. We can only see if light has been reflected off of something else and into our eyes. If there is no light reflecting off of an object, we don't see it. So when you have a blue shirt, it looks blue because it is reflecting blue light into your eyes. All of the other light waves that are hitting it are being absorbed. So chemicals known as pigments in the dyes and paints that we use to color things, they absorb some colors and they reflect others. So they absorb certain types of light waves and they reflect other light waves. So like I said, this blue shirt, the dye that's in it, it has been created to absorb red, orange, yellow, green, and violet light. That it doesn't reflect those, but it does reflect blue light. So the blue light is the one that bounces off and hits your eyes, so it looks blue to you. All right, so that is the additive primary colors, where we take a whole lot of colors, or we create a whole lot of colors out of just red, green, and blue and kind of mixing them together. We also have what's called subtractive primary colors. They're a little bit different. Magenta, yellow, and cyan, they're over here. You can see them where my mouse is. So those can create, those can create a whole lot of other colors as well. So you can kind of pause and look at this and you can see what colors you can create out of other colors. So red, green, and blue can create yellow, magenta, and cyan. And magenta, cyan, and yellow can create red, green, and blue. So they're kind of a reversal of each other. And when we use subtractive color processes, when we're using cyan and magenta and yellow and black, okay, those are, I'm in my classroom right now and I'm on planning and something just caught my eye in the hallway. So the subtractive color process, when we use those colors, it's just a little bit different than the way that our eyes work. Our eyes work from red, green, and blue. However, we can use other colors to create other light waves that our eyes then interpret red, green, and blue, and that's what these are. So here's one last chart for you. If you are curious about how all of these colors can be mixed together to create, or how just a few colors, can be mixed together to create all the other colors that we know. So this lesson's pretty quick and easy, just about how your eyes work, how we interpret colors, how it only takes a few colors to create all of the different shades that we see, because it's all about how those photoreceptors in our eyes interpret those colors and what signals they send to our brain. All right, so that's it for today. I'm going to go ahead and say that your vocabulary word is, let's do rods. Actually, let's do cones and rods. Cones and rods are your vocabulary words for the day. Go ahead and put those into Google Classroom and tell me which one sees color and which one sees black and white. And then we will do a little bit tomorrow or on Monday in class about how our eyes work. All right, bye guys.